Hello guys, this is Modest Major here, bringing you some commentary over some Halo 5 gameplay. This is from one of my more competitive matches taking place on the map Tyrant. Tyrant has a really nice aesthetic look to it, where the interior looks a little bit like Haven from Halo 4, and the exterior looks a little bit like Solace. It kind of combines the best of both worlds, and it's just a really visually appealing map to come back to time and time again. I've always said that for my personal taste, having a map that looks good is just something you can play for hours and hours on end without getting bored of. For me, that was one of the big pulls of Modern Warfare 2. Modern Warfare 2 actually had some great, vibrant looking maps that just pulled you back in and made you think, yeah, I don't mind playing this map for the 100th time in a row, because it's such a good looking map and there's so many vistas that I haven't seen before, and so many, bright points of interest that it just keeps you engaged and it keeps you alert, I would say. Nonetheless, I had a topic that I wanted to talk about with you guys today, and it's regarding the new game that's coming out by the name of Installation 01. Now, this is basically a Halo game at its core, but essentially it's not made by the people that made Halo 4 or Halo 3 or anything like that. It's not made in conjunction with Microsoft or 343 or Bungie. This is a fan-made game, but these aren't your average fans. These are people with development skills, people with programming skills, and they're people who can put together something potentially special. Now, if you guys haven't seen the vidoc, I'm not going to put it in this video. I'm just going to leave it in the description for you guys to click on it. I think enough people have shown it off to some extent to the point that you guys probably know it, but if you don't, you can go check it out in the description. But nonetheless, this is a fan-made project. It's very faithful to the originals in terms of the aesthetic, but it doesn't actually use the assets of the original Halos. It's creating its own assets, which means that they're less likely to get copyrighted. Now, the first question I had in my mind was, oh my gosh, this game looks cool, but of course it's going to get copyrighted. It looks identical to Halo. It looks like it might play identical to a core Halo title. You've got the BR starts, you've got DMR, you've got pistols. It looked very, very identical in terms of just from an aesthetic standpoint. Nonetheless, what they've managed to do is they've managed to make this game free, although at least that is their intention for the time being. I think that's a line that they're going to have to tread extremely carefully from a copyright standpoint, just due to the game looking so similar. They can't be putting adverts on their website or adverts anywhere whatsoever. They've got to be careful when it comes to trying to build a competitive scene. I'm part of the Super Smash Bros. Competitive scene, and there's a fan remake called Project Melee, which is meant to be more like Super Smash Bros. Melee on the Nintendo GameCube, and guess what happened with that game? It instantly got slapped with the copyright. Nintendo said this isn't allowed to happen. They issued a cease and desist, and Project Melee went off the scene altogether, and I would hate to see that happen with a game that's shaping up to be something potentially so special. But the difference is with that game is it did use the assets of the original Super Smash Bros. Brawl, whereas this game is not using any original Halo assets whatsoever. So that puts them in a pretty safe area for the time being. Now, you may think, oh, they're using fan assets. Does that mean that this game is going to look hideous? Does that mean it's going to play bad? But the animations and the graphics that they've got so far that they've shown off in this latest vidoc actually look incredibly impressive. And that was the first thing that really drew my attention was, most fan-made projects, I think of something like Murder Miners, which wasn't necessarily a fan-made project for Halo, but it definitely had an influence from it, but they were using an 8-bit pixel art style, and it didn't exactly blow you away from a visual standpoint. And I'm not expecting perfection, but I'm expecting something that has something close to it, the substance, in terms of animations, in terms of, just how the gameplay is going to feel. And this looks like the first thing that I've seen, which is like, okay, that's a little bit eye-opening, that's a bit eyebrow-raising. This could be a potential winner, and just the point of view that they're taking in terms of the gameplay seems really interesting. Although we haven't seen too much as of yet, they're definitely picking maps, and the way that the gameplay looks like it might flow, although it's very early days, looks like something that attracts my attention, because it's got that core Halo feel. It looks somewhere between a Halo 3 and a Halo 2, but also taking a couple of visual elements from the more modern design, but definitely sprucing it up a little bit. I don't necessarily like the visual design points in a lot of areas, in terms of the way the Spartans look, in terms of the way some of the weapons look. I think they can look a little bit ugly, like the new BR, for example. The dim yellow lights on the BR just makes the BR look a little bit less reliable. Reliable is not the word, but faithful to the originals and something I want to pick up. I don't really like the visual standpoint of that, and I think the crosshairs, especially, I mean, the launch to the game of Halo 5 when it came out, it looked even uglier. I mean, they did change it around a little bit, but it still looks a little bit more like a Call of Duty assault rifle instead of the old reliable stereotypical battle rifle that we all know and love. That's basically what I want, but just spruced up aesthetically a little bit. So I am really potentially excited, and the guys seem really serious and really committed to providing a Halo experience that does, give us back what we wanted. And I think some people's reaction to this sort of thing is going to be something along the lines of, oh, why would we want to buy a game that wasn't from the official creators of the game? This seems like a rip-off. This seems like, some junk that people are just going to throw away. They won't have the authority to do so that 343 or Microsoft did. Because some people, the people that aren't complete haters of Microsoft, they usually align themselves into two really biased camps. They hate 343 and they despise everything they do, or they forgive 343 and they stand up for them, and they basically kind of white knight them, in my opinion. They're white knights for 343. Everything you do is amazing. Why should we buy something else? But at the end of the day, people take the standpoint that Microsoft is the reason that 343 are suffering at the moment. It's Microsoft's fault that the game takes the direction that it does at some times, that it limits itself in some ways. I'm definitely in the middle ground. I think that elements of Halo 5 are amazing, but I'm not going to come out here and say that they listen to every single word of constructive criticism, or even close to every single word, and that they act on the criticism. I don't think they're particularly that amazing at that. I feel like there's a bit of a disconnect between the community and what the players want. And obviously they're not going to be able to tick all the boxes. I'm not expecting them to. But the way I think we should look at it is, we are consumers, we're buying a product. If you see something in something else, you should at the very least, take a keen interest in it. It's something that could be valuable to the consumers, and just because you have loyalty to 343, or you don't think it's necessarily their fault that some of the pitfalls that Halo 5 has had, if you think Halo 5 isn't delivering you the true core Halo experience that you wanted, you shouldn't have to feel guilty or, have some sort of uber allegiance to a company just because you think they're doing a good job, or you think they're trying but they're being limited. No, you're looking for the best Halo experience possible, and I think Installation 01 is taking steps towards providing an experience that could be really cool. It's still a little bit too early to say, but I definitely have my eyes firmly set on it, and I really want to watch what they come up with. The UI that they look like, they showed a tiny bit of the UI, and instantly in that UI I was hooked. I was like, wow, they're actually designing menus that we've been complaining about. We've been complaining about for so long. Ever since Halo Reach, it seems like the UI has gone down. It seems like the direction they've taken in some of the ways they design their maps, I think the map design quality has gone down, and although they're just using a bunch of remakes, they're picking some of the best remakes and some of the, old reliable Halo maps that I've come to love over the years. And even if that's a little bit nostalgia, good maps are good maps. That doesn't die out, and I think they've taken a step back, in my opinion, in terms of the overall quality of the map. So it's something that just gets me excited, and overall, I really like what Installation 01 is shaping up to be. I think they're not being so stubborn as to not take anything from the new games, but they're also acknowledging the fact that the old games did a lot good, and trying to take as much back from it and learn as much from it as possible, which is something I sometimes find that the newer developers are lacking, for better or worse. Nonetheless, you guys give your guys' opinion on what you think on the whole matter, whether you think the game is good. Again, I'm leaving the link in the description to the video, to the vidoc, and you guys can kind of make a decision for yourself. If you disagree with me, that's perfectly fine. These are just my opinions on the subject, and it's something I'm kind of excited for, so yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. I've been Modest Major. Peace out.